Gallagher.
Here. Okay.
Quorum's present.
As you wish, please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we ask your presence in the meeting as we do the business of the county. Be with those that are sick, those that are ailing, those that are terminal. We ask you to be with all of us, give us peace of mind, and give us happiness. We ask all this in Jesus' name.
Amen. The consent agenda last week consisted only of the minutes format this week, because it's only minutes for last week's meeting. So, I have a motion. I move that we approve the consent agenda.
And I second the motion.
All in favor, aye? Aye. There are no table agenda items. Okay, we have, Madam Treasurer, you want to talk about the sales tax collection report?
Okay. Kerry, Glore, Francois County Treasurer's Office, and for the month of May, we're up from 2018 to 2019 by about 5.5%, which is really good. And so overall, the increase for 2019 over 2018 is a little above 4%.
Okay.
So far, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, and I was thinking last month's in that report of 3.67, that was a peak, that would average out, and we're still going up, so.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, we're, at this time of year, we aim for $10 million a year on that, and we're well on the way for that. So, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Kerry. Next item is request to yes.
Oh, I just had a quick question. This stuff here is this all available to upload to our website, or
it's already on?
That's why I thought we'd already done it this month. So.
We do have a sales tax report on the website. It's a little bit different than the one that the county commission gets. It takes in more years as a comparison, so people can see, I think, either 3 or 4 years out on the website.
Okay, well, if you talk to anybody from the public that wants something different on there too, we can go ahead and upload it after the meetings. Anytime you approve something, we can show whatever you showed.
Okay, and Dan Duncan's doing a great job getting things out there on the website. So.
Okay. Yeah. And just an added note, this increased sales taxes money, when it hits the percentages and the numbers, that will come off of your property taxes. That'll be rolled back. So
only on general revenue.
General revenue, right? But that'll be rolled back. That's 6 cents now. That's a 6 cents now. Yeah. But that could have been 30 cents if we didn't have that. So it's not free money. It comes off the property tax of the.
There is a rollback.
Yeah. Thank you. Request to waive pending interest. We have the Life Center property, and there's the details of it. We have a representative here right here if we have any questions. But this property was purchased in June of 16, and we have our collector coming up, and let her take it from there.
I think you pretty much said it all.
Okay.
Collector Pamela Williams. The Life Center contacted me. They had purchased this property. They just recently got a bill because we're getting ready for our tax sale, so we're going anything that's 3 years and older. And they got a letter with the tax bill showing that they owe the 2016s. So they contacted the assessor's office, and the assessor's office has done a court order to lower that property back to the value it was on their portion of the final settlement from the abstract company. So they have asked us to waive the penalty of interest, which I'm relaying that to you. It would be a total of $1,044.68.
Okay. Now, is that based on the original amount of the taxes in escrow? Escrow's the wrong word. It's the property on the taxes owed on the closing statement.
Prorated.
They prorated it.
Yes.
Yes. The assessor's office had prorated it and moved that amount down.
Okay.
According to what Life Center would have paid.
Okay. So this is based on the original amount.
No.
This is
the
on
difference
the lower
is
amount.
just on the lower amount.
Okay.
Because it's 3 years delinquent now.
Okay. Now, with a tax exempt organization, can we charge them penalty and interest anyway?
To the court, that would be a long process and probably be questionable if we could. Is this on the property in Bismarck or Farmington?
No, this is in Farmington. This is where a long time ago, it's on Karsh Boulevard.
Next to the old China buffet thing, yeah,
Right.
that property.
That property next door.
Did they just purchase it in the last 3 years?
They purchased it
16.
in 16.
And did you have anything you want to add to this?
No,
Hold on a second. If you come forward,
yes.
tell them.
Sorry.
on the audio recording.
So,
And your name is?
Pauline.
Hi,
Niehaus.
Pauline.
Hi. I'm sorry. So, we did purchase it in 2016, and it is the old China buffet, basically, is what it is. And in our closing papers and our papers, there was nothing disclosed that we owed that. So, because we are a nonprofit, I realize that the county, it's not their fault, but I also realize it's not our fault. We are a nonprofit and we struggle all the time for funds to help many of our consumers, that most of them are within this county. So, you know, this would be something taking away that we could maybe build a ramp or get equipment for somebody in need.
Did you assume that if because you're a nonprofit that you
Well, we didn't know that there was taxes owed on it because it was not, I have our papers right here, it
Would
was
that
not
not-
even in there.
Would that not come through a title search or?
Yeah, how did you get the title then?
It came from New Era. New Era is the one that handled it.
Okay, at the time when they bought it in 16, the 16 taxes were not out until November of that year. So at the time, there was none due. It was after the fact.
So, yeah, we were just kind of surprised when we got the bill because we had no idea.
Okay,
I don't have any issues. I look at the good work that they did, the non-tax status. I don't have an issue with it, so.
I move that we waive interest and penalty for the Life Incorporated in the amount of $1,044.68.
And I would be more than happy to second that.
any questions? Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's done, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, it's our paperwork, there'll be some paperwork and the collector will contact you or what, how that works? Okay, they're in conference now, so let's move on to that. Yeah, moving on, permission to purchase and install, the Juvenile Detention Center, has a water softener issue and there's a faulty valve leading to it. Ace is here. Ace, you wanna talk about this? Microphone, please.
Sure. So we've got 3 bids here.
Hold on a second.
Microphone, Ace.
Identify yourself.
Ace Echoff, Chief Juvenile Officer for the 24th Circuit. And talking about the water softener. So 3 bids, we got Bowman, Culligan, and then we also have where we would purchase from Capital and have an individual install it. I provided those 3 bids. So you should have it there in front of you. One of the issues that we have is we do have a faulty valve that need to be installed, and Bowman and Culligan are not interested in doing the valve. So we did have to get a separate bid for that. Doug Thurston, who would be involved if we do it through Capital, is the bid I got for the install. He would do the valve, and his fee would be $720, which would be separate from the 3 bids on the front page that you see there.
I can tell you, they've been working on this for a month, trying to get it lined out and working on it.
Yeah,
System, maybe longer than that.
yeah. So
So who's your recommendation?
my recommendation would be Capital based on, you know, the install and Mr. Thurston also doing the valve as well. If he starts the valve, he'll just complete the process. The unit is a little bit more from Capital. Mr. Thurston's bid to install is less than the other 2.
So in total, with total installation and all.
With the valve, it would be somewhere in the area of $4,800 if we do that recommendation. If we go the other routes, I will have to find another installer unless Mr. Thurston would do the install and Colgan and Bowman could do the water softener.
Who's your recommendation?
It would be to buy it through Capital and have Mr. Thurston install that and also install the valve at the same time.
I don't have a problem with that. I move that we take your recommendation and grant the authority to enter into that agreement.
And, okay, and do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any questions, comments? Okay, now this $4,800, it falls between that $500,000 and $6,000 range that we need quotes, but we have to go to the seal bid process at that point. Okay, then you've done your paperwork on it, thank you so much. Now, have a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Thank you, Ace, don't go too far.
Thank you.
Okay, they want permission to remove the greenhouse out of the JDC. There it is. It's not the fanciest greenhouse in the world, but it's functional. You want to address it, sir?
Yes, so this is our greenhouse, put together when we had a community service project that dealt with at-risk youth. The greenhouse is approximately 20 feet by 40 feet long. As you can see, some of the materials are starting to come apart and the plastic is starting to blow in the wind. We're just concerned that that may blow off, could hurt somebody, will probably definitely wind up in other people's property if we continue to allow it. We did shut the program down. We took about a $20,000 loss on one of the grants. So the funding's just really not been there, and we've kind of repurposed the dollars that we have for other programming for at-risk youth. And so currently there's no one maintaining this.
So your plan is just to destroy it, or you got other purpose for it? Or?
I can comment to that. I would like to approach the extension and see if there's some 4-H student or family that would like to have this greenhouse, and they can take it down and move it. They have usually trucks and trailers and tools, and they're farm families.
I think it would be a great idea. A majority, if not all of this, was purchased through grant money.
Now, there's no binding on that we can't give it away to some nonprofit or anything like that. Okay. Motion?
I move that we permit the removal of the greenhouse at Juvenile Detention Center and hopefully repurpose it somewhere else.
And I will, okay, second.
Can I add something?
Yes.
So you know, that would take going to 4-H and asking if they would.
That's the first shot.
That would be the first thing. If not, then the county would,
Yeah,
would possibly remove it.
Yeah, you're not bound by to find out somebody wants it, but before you tear it down, maybe we find some.
Yeah.
Okay. And let them do the labor.
Yeah.
Okay, so another shot through road bridge potentially. You don't have anything to do anyway. Okay, I have motion second, all in favor? No comments, right?
I have a comment.
Yes.
Would you not consider, if we had another organization to take it over, to leave it there? Is that a possibility?
To leave it on the property.
And have someone do the improvements at no charge?
This is on our property where we have a juvenile detention center. I don't know about any outside entities coming onto the property due to some confidentiality. We have a rec area where our kids do go out in the back, which is in plain sight of the detention center. So we could definitely run into some confidentiality.
Okay, so definitely it's decided it has to be moved.
Yeah, yeah. I
Even
think
the
that would be the
liability
best.
of it with somebody else's operations.
Yeah.
Okay.
The issues we'd be concerned about. Yes, Clay?
If it isn't repurposed at some other organization, and Road and Bridge addresses this, just realize that it will be demolished and hauled off.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I add one more thing that's not in the picture? There are some chicken coops, some rabbit cages, some other things that maybe if 4-H doesn't take the structure itself, there are some things that maybe they could look at and maybe utilize.
Will those show in the other pictures I received?
I'm not sure. I have my detention
The
superintendent.
pictures sent with other structures, that could be.
Yeah, and if they do not, I can certainly provide that.
Okay. I'll be taking this picture of the 3 or 4 others that Jay sent down to the extension early this week, or sooner than later.
Yeah.
And we'll see what we can get done with that. Okay, I don't have a vote yet, right?
That's correct.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
Okay, next regular meeting, this time next week, same place. And other business, correspondence. Public comments. Departmental reports. Yes, Dan.
Dan Duncan, Emergency Manager. I just want to give you a little bit of a progress report for the last 2 months since I've been appointed as the Emergency Management Director for the county. We've been reviewing the emergency operations plans for St. Francois County, which, as you know, is that thick.
Yeah.
So it's taking a little time to go reviewing everything, make sure everything's in place. We did host the tabletop mass casualty exercise earlier this month over at the 911 Center. Very good training. We brought in 4 counties, Madison, we got brought in Washington, St. Francis, St. Genevieve, and Kerry County officials. Very, very important, very good collaborating with other stakeholders in emergency management. And we also participated in the earthquake program hosted by the Southeast Missouri Mental Health Center last week. The program itself was all of our emergency trailers and our resources. We do have some issues with some of our trailers, tires and some coverings that have been out in the weather for many years. We'll address that in the near future as well. And just want to let everybody know about tonight's potential severe weather threat. We are in an enhanced risk zone for potentially severe weather. Timing, it's hard to predict, but anywhere between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock hour tonight, so just be weather aware.
And your trailers, I have on next week's agenda to authorize purchase of those 40 tire needs on all those trailers.
Correct.
And also the roof repair, so I'll be addressing that next week.
All right, hopefully I did submit a quote out for one local company for roof repair, but I have not heard anything back yet, so I might just look at other options as well. So.
But that's gonna run over $4,000 for all those tires.
Yes.
Plus the labor, the
Right.
SKUs. So that'd be something we'll need to discuss. Thank you for that. And the mass casualty was a scenario that they set up. In this case, that's the St. Francis Bridge down by the heliport, 67. There's a jackknife trailer truck at 5:30 p.m. in a heavy ice storm, coming ice storm. And it talked about all the situations there that came up and all that, and nobody could travel, and yet everybody was trying to travel, and
Yeah, it really just made everybody there that was in emergency management, put their thinking caps on.
But this was a group of all the agencies that would be involved. And it was fascinating to me to see how they would all interconnect and how they would work.
Yeah, and we're still looking to down in the future to have those types of training events and scenarios with our local partners in the state, so.
That was SEMA that did that?
The state emergency management.
Well, that was well done.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Thanks. Any other departmental reports? Yes, Dan?
Just announcement, North County Dairy graduation this afternoon, 1 p.m. St. Francis County Law Enforcement Special Olympics Torch Run starts 6 a.m. in the morning, be 67 highway from Madison County line till up to Jefferson County line. So the officers will be running along the edge of 67. If you see them there, give them a little room.
And the DARE graduation, where will that be?
That will be at North County School and Campbell.
Okay. Any other departmental reports? Thank you. Yes, Dan Ward. We got Dan coming up here.
Pictometry photography has been completed. And it's available for anybody who wants to get on the
The
website.
leaves are out now, it needs to be completed. Okay, any other departmental reports? Okay,
Adjourn.
Okay, and I'd second the motion.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
When did that tornado hit?
2 years ago today.
2 years ago today, thank you, Buck.
Hardly remembered.
Yeah, about 4 p.m. I think there were 7 deaths on that one, about 10, 12 years later, the Bonterre got hit, and it was 8 or 10 deaths on that, plus multiple injuries.
I have a memory of that. Because I was young too, and it just